Welcome, everybody, to another edition of IPJ, the podcast. I'm Matthew Gonzalez, and once again, I'm joined by my fantastic co-host, Miss Tammy Toffanelli. How are you, Tammy?
I'm doing great, Matt. How about yourself after your little sabbatical from our podcast?
Yes, and it was me. I was out due to some personal medical stuff, but I've talked about it already. Everybody knows that. Anyways, we need to get to the good stuff. You're going under the knife pretty soon too. I'm take it too, right?
Yeah, I actually have a surgery scheduled for the 14th of this month, but I'm going to push it back until, after July 5th. That way I can enjoy the 4th of July. And I'm going to Tennessee for a week to visit my son and my best friend, Boo Boo. And so I'm going to try to push it out till after the 5th so that I can enjoy my time.
Awesome. Well, send them all our love and hope everybody has a great time. It's always good to spend time with family. So.
Yep.
And so speaking of our sabbatical, there is some things we need to update people about that's been going on in the world around us and our viewers, right?
Absolutely. So my cousin Ronnie, as everybody knows, 19 Mariposa County, supposedly drowned in the Merced River in 2017. As our followers know, with all of our podcasts that we've been doing to keep everybody updated, in fact, he did not drown. There was no water found in his lungs. I have already gotten a secondary autopsy report, but due to certain circumstances, the woman who has done it is not willing to certify her second opinion. So what I have done is I have secured a company who does second opinion autopsy reports based off case information. They also have expert witnesses that will come to the state of California and testify as to their findings in the case. In order to secure that to happen, I need to raise $1,000 so that I can secure them, get the case file, move forward, their second opinion, all of their reports done, and get them on board so that we can actually, file in the court system, our case, and get things in motion again. And with these people who are willing to do this for us, it is definitely what's going to put the nail in the coffin, so to speak.
Yeah, that's going to take a community effort to get to justice. By the way, your cousin, Ronnie Cole, passed away on June 23rd. So this is the anniversary month of his passing. And so we want to do a show, of course, on that day. So we're going to around that day of what transpired. So hopefully we can get some people involved, and it'll be on our live show. So you'll be able to actually contact us, directly in the live comments feed. You'll be able to, communicate with us and give us some tips, maybe ask us questions about the case that we may be able to answer. Just generally have some fun with. So it is for a good and worthy reason, though. We need to get to the bottom of what happened. And I think we have, though, with all that we've uncovered. We've gone pretty close, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we've pretty much, hit the nail on the head with everything that we've uncovered and, and everything that's come forward. So this is just the final step that we need to take to get everybody's attention in the necessary, places to be able to move forward with Ronnie's case. And just so everybody knows, every penny, every dollar, every share counts. It all counts towards something. And there will be full transparency when I make the transaction, where all that money is going. I will make sure to let everybody know. I'll print the receipts out so everybody can see it. It'll be full transparency.
Excellent. And that can also go up to the website, and we'll we'll get it up so people can see that what's come in and what's going out for them, so they know where their money's at. Just so everybody knows too, we are not a nonprofit organization, so your donations do not count as a tax write-off. But it does go for a very important and worthy cause, and we really need people to step up. I mean, $5 goes a long way to get this done.
Absolutely.
So help anything you can. Really appreciate it. Those of you that can't help, completely understand. So don't even think any less of yourself in any way. But if you could please do us the honor of sharing the information that we need to get out there to raise the money for Ronnie's autopsy. And further news and updates. The Burkhart case continues to be a bit bogged down by the district attorney of Merced County, Miss Kimberly Lewis. Apparently there's been no movement, not much happening, and everybody just wants it to go away. But just so that everybody knows, we're not allowing it to go away. There's no movement on the law enforcement side, I should say, but there is movement on the on our side of it. And we'll continue to move forward and make sure that we help them get to the bottom of the story too, because there's so much that needs to be told. It encompasses a lot of very corrupt people. So, with that being said, we got a lot coming up. We wanted to speak with Jay's Surreal Camera, and we had him booked for the show this evening, but he unfortunately wasn't able to make it. He did have to reschedule, so he'll be with us next week, so check that out. It will be a pre-recorded piece that we'll insert into our live feed. So yeah, did I say live, Tammy?
I think you did say live.
So I think we're going to be going live. There's a lot of things we're doing too. You're setting up a TikTok or some Instagram account for us as well. Is that going on? Or
yeah, I actually already started the Instagram account. I'm still building it. And then I'll be working on the TikTok account here probably tomorrow and getting that up and going. And for those of you who don't know, Matt, he actually created a Facebook profile for IPJ, the podcast. So you can look us up there, and don't forget to follow us and like our videos, because every share, every like, every view counts. So, yep, it definitely helps.
And, if it'll help out in any way, shape, or form, I am willing to do, and this is big news, I am willing to do a calendar, certain outfits each month. As we go into the summer. I don't know if anybody would want to see that though, so maybe that's not
fishnets. Matt and fishnets.
Oh no. Let's not go there. A good friend of mine named Mike Hernandez on Facebook. We've known each other since we were like 16 years old. He remembers a time when I actually put on a woman's bikini at 16. It was a dare by his girlfriend, and so I put it on. I think I look pretty hot myself, but
hey, I've probably seen worse.
Oh boy. So anyways, we have others coming up in the show too, right, Tammy? We have
we have Robin and Debbie in this show, and we've had the pleasure of doing our interview with them. And out of Atwater, their sister Sandy was being strong-armed by law enforcement. And law enforcement came in, just a brief history of it. She was renting a house from Lori Waterman, who is the city manager, and Lori wanted to do inspection because she's trying to sell the home. And Sandy just lost her husband and was dealing with COVID. She's immunocompromised and was just trying to say, hey, it's not a good time for me. I've literally got 13 days left in this house. Can't you please just do it afterwards? And Lori called in law enforcement, at her beck and call, in uniform, on taxpayer dollar time, and on a civil matter.
Wow, and imagine being able to call the chief of police on a civil matter that you have at your home,
I'm going to try that and see if it works.
Yeah, I think every Atwater resident should, and we discussed that in the interview too, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
And we also talked with Juan from Merced Golden Wire News, mercedgwnews.com, by the way, mercedgwnews.com. You'll see all of this that we're talking about and our requests for donations at the bottom of the screen, so you can catch up with all that. But there you go. Yes. So be sure to click on and check out his website. It's an amazing website. He does local news and information in the Merced, California area, encompasses Atwater, Livingston, I believe he said as well. And just did what I did, when I started in 2013, full on, and chasing down the information and stories that are most important to the people in your community.
Yep.
A lot of times I think we get bogged down on thinking that, news can only come from a guy in a suit and a tie sitting behind a desk on our TV screen. That's not how news is delivered anymore. I was literally laughed at even by the district attorney in Merced County and other public officials for starting a news company on Facebook. That you're not a news company if you're on Facebook. Yeah, blah blah blah. I mean, I was mocked, and then at the time, me and the DA were actually on good terms. So it was kind of hilarious, and then. That's what actually ended up taking him down. So anyways, you can do a lot with Facebook these days, as people are showing. TikTok too. And speaking of things you can do online, we are going to be going live coming up next weekend. We're going to try a show or two or three or four. We'll see how it goes. But we're going to be going live on Twitch. So if you're not a subscriber of Twitch, check it out. What is Twitch, Tammy? Do you have any idea?
Twitch, well, I can only say from my perspective, my son is a avid gamer who does computer gaming, and he used to use Twitch. So from what I understood is Twitch originally started out for a live streaming gamer aspect. So you could go on there and stream your game so other people could look in and get idea, and learn and educate themselves on these games that were up and coming or, things like that. But now Twitch has evolved into something bigger than just for the gaming community. Twitch has evolved into a full-on, streaming outfit. So now IPJ, the podcast, is not just, YouTuber, but we're actually becoming live streamers. So
yeah, and that stream will actually be broadcasted onto YouTube, Facebook, across all of our social media platforms. So you'll have the chance to check it out in one of your favorite platforms. So check that out. And I think it's going to be a lot more fun. It'll be a lot. There'll be some mistakes. I'm sure there'll be some flumps because I've got to run everything from here as we're going. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how it runs. But I'm getting the hang of it. I think, and you got to. The only way to get it right is to do it right.
Yep, that's right. Practice makes perfect.
Yes, ma'am. So if we make a few flubs, forgive us. I'll go ahead and make that apology now. But I think we'll be okay. Anyways, moving on. So for tonight's show, let's get into that interview with Robin and Debbie. Their sister, Sandra Ron, was a recreations city employee who retired recently as well and had gone through some really tragic circumstances, which will all be addressed inside of the interview. Before we begin, though, we're going to go ahead and play the videos that the family has allowed us to show to you so you can kind of get an understanding of what they're up against. There was also a really good piece done in the Sun Star. Did you happen to read that, by the way, Tammy?
I did read that. It was a very good article, and I give kudos to them. There's actually a few good newspapers and stuff out there that actually, do things correctly. So kudos to them for sure. And, my heart definitely goes out to Sandy and everything that she's going through and has gone through. I just, I couldn't imagine being in that situation with everything she was dealing with, and then trying to be strong-armed, out of her home sooner than she was supposed to be, so.
Yeah, I mean, it really is shocking that the police chief would literally go to this woman's house and, strong armor, like you said. It just really doesn't make any sense. He's a new police chief in the area. 2019, he's actually been in law enforcement and directed other departments in the role of chief, and I believe as sheriff. So he's not anyone new to law enforcement. He knows the job better than most. So it's really surprising that he went ahead and went along with this scheme and this ploy. So we're going to go ahead and play these videos for you guys to check out, and then we're going to go right into the interview. So here you go. We're going to watch these, and then we'll be back on the other side.
Okay. Hey, your daughter sounds exactly like you. I thought I was talking to you.
That happens.
No, I mean, the tenor of your voice, I mean, I've known Sandy now for a couple of years. That was like, I thought, oh yeah, hi Sandy, and it was not Sandy. I apologize.
I know why you're here. All I need is 2 weeks and I'll be out of here.
No. They want to. Lori wants to have a home inspector check the structure of the house.
I told her, but then she wants to come too, and I can't see her.
Okay. Well, what she was trying to do to help you was be here, so you didn't have to be. If you're here when the home inspector is here, that's not a problem.
If I have to see her, I will break down even more.
No.
Friendship.
That's why I kind of volunteered to come and try to facilitate this home inspection. That's all I'm here for. I'm not here to do anything else but that.
I just don't want to see her, and I just don't know why she can't wait 2 weeks.
Okay.
It's 2 weeks, Chief. Two freaking weeks. And I'm having a really hard time trying to pack up my husband's stuff and everything. I just can't do this.
No, I get it. I understand.
2 weeks isn't going to kill nobody.
The home inspection apparently has been delayed already once.
That's not delayed because of me.
Well, no, I get that. But it's scheduled for 4 o'clock tomorrow. Okay.
It was scheduled for Monday, and she said no because she wanted to come with them. But
well, she was trying to be helpful to you.
It just look at I got boxes everywhere. I mean,
okay,
it's not ready
yeah,
for
no, I understand that. That's not what the home inspection is for. Apparently, there's a pending sale.
Tell her just to send him.
Okay.
I'll make sure. I've already told my sister because my sisters are like so pissed. No, they're just so pissed because
I understand. I get it. Like I said, I'm just here to try to help facilitate this and get this over.
No, you're here on behalf of Lori on city time.
Well,
and so is this officer on a personal matter. Yes.
Well, for us, it's a landlord-tenant dispute.
But what do you have legally to dispute? That's what I'm saying. There's no dispute because she's supposed to give me 60 days. She gave me 30. I said, give me an escrow date. I'll be out by that date.
I get that. All I know is there's a rental agreement with 24 hours notice on an inspection.
There's no rental agreement. There's no lease. No.
Okay.
But
I'm just, guys. I'm just.
I know, but at the same time, like, I know Lori has lost, what she has lost, but my mom has been traumatized.
I know, I 100%
traumatized, and I don't even want to say anything in front of her, but she had to cut her husband down. She's traumatized right now. So I mean, give us. Come on now. I've been holding my mom up.
1:59, I told my sister, I said, Inspector can come. She doesn't need to.
Okay.
And tell her I don't want to see her. It will just tear me up even more. And I just don't need that.
Done.
The inspector can be here. I'll be here to hold my mom up. Everything will be fine.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, officer. You guys have a great day.
Hello? Hey, is the inspector here yet? No, but Lori, it's not going to happen today.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
I've given you enough notice.
No, it's not, Lori.
It is going to happen.
No, it's not.
Okay, I will call.
Yep, do what you got to do. But it's not happening.
This is my property. I've given you.
It doesn't matter. You're not
property.
paid in.
It
It's
is
COVID.
my property.
My sister still lives
It's
here.
my property.
I
Your
understand
sister
that.
has not paid rent for 2 months. So if you want me to give her a 3-day,
You told she hasn't paid rent for 1 month. You told
no,
her
she
didn't have
hasn't paid October or
Right,
November.
but you told her she didn't have to pay Lori.
You're right. I told her
October.
she didn't have to pay October.
And if you would have
what
given
about
her,
November?
Lori, if you would have given her a 60-day
She has
notice,
not been in
if
November.
you should have given her a 60-day notice, not a 30-day notice. She's been here over a
She
year.
has known
It doesn't
more
matter.
than 60 days.
No, she doesn't. You
yes,
told her
she
the
has.
end of-
No,
you said
she has no. I'm not going to argue with you.
Okay.
You have no business on this. This is between Sandy
when this is
and
when,
me.
when
you
you're
are
harassing
not.
my sister. You are harassing my sister. She's walking away.
You are harassing me.
I'm
as a
not.
property
No,
owner.
let me have it.
No,
Let me
I
have
have
it.
not harassed your sister at all.
Sandy, calm down.
Lori, I can't do this right now.
Well, then go in your room, but it's
For
going
you
to
to
happen.
come over here and
It's gonna
scream me
happen,
out in
Sandy.
front of all the neighbors is ridiculous. Lori, I
You
can't do
are
it.
doing it, not me.
Lori,
I have given you enough notice. I
Sandy,
told
go
you
inside.
last week.
And
Go.
I told you
Just
that
go.
I
Go
can't.
inside.
And Robin, I told Robin, I said to Charlie, I'm just not up to it. I
Yeah.
can't do it. You just don't understand. You're not. All you care about is you. And
Sandy,
that's
I have
fine.
to take care of my family.
So does she.
This is
So
me.
does I have to take
You
care of
have
myself.
known this for more than 60 days. You have known this for more than September. You don't tell me you're afraid of COVID. Neither one of you, none of you have masks on.
We're in our home. We've been quarantined.
You've been in Denver. You've been at your shop. You've been.
She wears
so
her
you
mask
wanna tell me-
everywhere. Go in the house. Go in the house. This is irrelevant.
You don't need this, Mom. Get in the house.
Something else, Lori.
We'll see you in court.
No, we will not.
Bye, Lori. Bye, Lori.
There's an inspection that said, what is the reason why we can't?
Yes, hold on, Debbie. The reason she can't. My sister has 2 weeks in this house left. My sister has had a terrible loss, as Lori has. My sister's husband had killed himself. Found him here. My sister's going through a lot, and this is putting my sister in a deep. You were here. Yes. Okay. Hold on, Debbie.
I would think your sister would want to get out of the house.
And she is getting out of the house, Lori. She's trying. I'm talking to the officer, not you. And so I'm trying not to. You know, this is just ridiculous. And so it's COVID. My sister has heart issues. It's just not okay. 2 weeks. She can wait 2 weeks. The house is a mess. There's stuff everywhere. You know, it's not going to happen. I asked her nicely yesterday in a text message, Lori, I'm sorry to ask you this, but do you think we can do this a week in 2 weeks? It's 13 days, 12 days now. And now she's saying my sister caused her to lose Anderson. That is a freaking lie. That is not true. But anyways, I have you on speaker. But anyways, it's not going to happen. It's just not doable right now. In 2 weeks, great. They can come in here. She'll be out here. And if we can be out sooner, we will. My sister honestly tried to be out sooner. She just can't get motivated. She's really having a hard time.
Packing up her husband's stuff, her husband that she had to cut down.
Don't say that.
I was here, so I empathize. I do. Okay.
One of the ones that didn't have an AED on them when you came that night?
Anyways.
I'm gonna
call the chief.
Okay, thank you.
The chief called us to be here.
Of course he did. But this isn't a matter that you guys should even be dealing with.
It's a civil matter, and yes, it's something they do deal with.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. For an inspection?
The taxpayer, yes.
So you can call the chief and have him come over here. Can I be able to call the chief?
Yes, you can call the chief.
Oh, I can call the chief and have him come over here? Okay, Lori. Yeah, it's just not doable. My sister's a mess, and she's not. But my sister very, very rarely. She doesn't even leave the house. Very rarely does she leave the house. Since all this happened, it takes everything for her to leave the house. So
Well, I understand that better than most. Okay?
And
I have to get through with this.
it's not going to get done today, Lori.
No,
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's not.
You can't force an inspection. The guy that was here before you came here already told us that you cannot force an inspection.
The appraiser was here earlier.
Okay, I will sue her for rent then, because she has not paid rent.
Do what you gotta do, Lori.
October to help her out.
Do-
She didn't get out.
Then sue her for $1,000. Lori, when my sister moved in this house, your son's shit was in the garage for a month.
I didn't charge your sister one pig go. So
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. My sister was living here with your son's junk in the garage. Who does that? Who rents a house with their belongings? Ridiculous. You are something else, Lori. You got a big head, boy. You sure got a big head with that. And she helped you out too.
Less than what I could have rented for, and she knows that.
Yeah.
So this is a civil issue. We're not going to keep arguing about it.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys have a wonderful day. Oh, so you're on her side. Peace out. Peace out? That's what police officers say? I have everything recording right now, and we are taking this higher. This is ridiculous. This will be all in the media. Have a wonderful day, Lori and officers. Hello? No, they're sitting out here. He said peace out. The officer. Yeah, he said peace out. Like.
All right, everybody. I am so pleased to welcome now to the show Debbie and her sister Robin. They are joining us both from their homes to talk about the incident we just talked about earlier. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So it's something that seems to be a little late in getting out to the public. This occurred in November, I believe it was.
Yes.
And basically, from the videos that we've reviewed and that people will, saw just before we opened this interview, you, or I should say, your sister is the main person involved. She rented or leased a home in Atwater, California, that is owned by the city manager, an elected official. And that city manager wanted her out. Lori Waterman, I believe her name is, correct?
Yes.
And she wanted your sister out of the home so she could do an inspection, or just to basically open the home to do an inspection of the home so that she could sell the home, correct?
Yes, that's right.
So instead of, because your sister does have rights as a leaser, as a renter, just as Lori Waterman has rights, but your sister had the right to request that the inspection be delayed due to the personal situation that had occurred earlier. I don't know. I don't remember how much earlier, but maybe you guys could address that. But Lori Waterman, the city manager, didn't want to give her that extra 2 weeks time to allow that to occur. So what she did was she called the police chief, a new chief who basically started, I think, in 2019, came from Madera as a sheriff or something. And he literally drove out to your sister's home. Was it a weekend or a weekday?
It was a weekday.
Okay. Well, at least it was on a working day, I guess, a regular day.
Yeah.
And on city time and the city's dime, went at the personal beckoning of Lori Waterman and knocked on your sister's door.
Yes.
So I'll let you take it from there and basically tell us in your own words. I mean, it seemed pretty relaxed with the chief and stuff like that. But then Lori walked in or up to the door.
Do you want me to start or?
Yeah.
Debbie?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So originally Lori had requested for the inspection to be done on Monday. And my sister said, that's fine, wear your masks. And then later on that day, she texted her back and said, never mind, inspection is moved to Wednesday. I'm going to be there, so you don't need to be there. So don't worry about it. And it couldn't happen. I mean, what my sister went through was very traumatic, as well as Lori. But what my sister went through was traumatic. I mean, it was hard for her to even get out of bed. I mean, it was, and she had to move.
And there was also COVID.
And COVID.
Yes. So there's definitely reasons why she did not want. Yeah. She allowed the house to be shown when Lori was trying to sell it. And she requested that people wear masks. And that's a few times didn't happen. So, you know, she definitely had valid reason to not want other people in the house.
Right.
And
I also
real quick,
oh,
just
sorry.
to so people know, when you're talking about COVID, I mean, yeah, everybody was dealing with COVID, but your little town, or that little town of Atwater, and Merced was devastated because they kept themselves open, and you know, all the no masks or whatever, and actually challenged the state.
It was, yeah,
up in a very bad state. So you could understand how a woman of elderly age like ourselves may have some concerns. I know I did. I didn't want people in and out of my house like that, especially at a high time. So totally understand.
She was very nervous about it. She definitely would be at a big risk if she were to catch COVID. So she was being very careful.
Yeah.
Plus she had just lost her husband. So, I mean, her life right then was very concerning to her, you know, kind of scared her.
Now, when you say she lost her husband, I don't want to get too personal. It's very difficult, I understand, but I think it's important for people to understand what she was dealing with. So if you could just briefly touch on that. I mean, they'll hear it in the videos and stuff, but if you could just briefly touch on what she was dealing with before Lori decided to bring the chief.
Okay. So her husband did commit suicide. My sister's the one that found him, and she had to cut him down. So that was, I mean, that's something she's never, you know, ever going to forget. So dealing with that was a lot, you know. So that's, I mean, she was just devastated, you know.
Yeah, and her whole life had turned upside down at that point. And, you know, and then, you know, she had just retired. He took his own life. She had to deal with that. And now Lori was asking her to move, which she was fine. She was going to go along with that. But Lori was definitely being somewhat of a bully as far as trying to get her out of there.
Yeah. And there was no contract. Her and Lori had been friends. She moved in there. She said, "You want to move in the house?" She moved in. There was no written contract at all. No contract. And so, you know, what they say 24 hours is good timing for, you know, to do inspections and whatnot, but it has to be reasonable. You know, if the person can deny it, if they can't just go in the house, you know? So I had texted my sister. I had texted Lori on Tuesday, the 17th. And I had asked her, I said, "Hey, Lori, you know, is it okay if we go ahead and do the inspection when Sandy moves out? 2 weeks. That was 13 days. And she said, "Absolutely not. It's got to happen today. It's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, it's going to happen tomorrow. It's just going to happen." I said, "Lori, it's just not going to happen. It's hard to get Sandy moving." She had to pack up her husband's stuff. It wasn't easy, you know? And she said, "It's happening." Maybe an hour later, I get a video from my sister. The police chief showed up and was intimidating her to move it, you know, to go ahead and let her go with the inspection. And, you know, he came over there on voluntary, but with another officer on business time. You didn't go there. You know, you went over there
in uniform with squad. Yeah. The whole 9 yards. He came there as an official representative of the police department, trying to get Sandy to do what Lori wanted her to do. Yes. And if you notice in that video, the chief asked Sandy several times, you know, to let Lori go ahead and have the inspection. And Sandy said, "No, I just can't. It's just a really bad time." And there was probably at least 5 or 6 times where Sandy said no. And each time Sandy was distraught about the whole thing. And then he would sympathize with her, and then he would come back to the question again as far as trying to push on the inspection. And finally, Sandy relented and said that she would allow it.
Only for the inspector, though, not for Lori.
Right. But then afterwards, after that, because I was on the phone, on speakerphone with her when this was happening, and her daughter was recording it. And afterwards, I was so mad. My husband used to be in law enforcement, and I was just so frustrated that the chief would come over there and intimidate my sister. And at the time it was happening, and I'm on speakerphone, I'm thinking, if this was anybody else, I would, on my side from South Carolina, I would call the police and have them go over there and protect my sister a little bit, because she was very vulnerable in that moment. But it was the police that were doing it to her. So it wasn't like there was any protection for my sister whatsoever. When you've got the chief of police pretty much trying to strong arm you into allowing something that you absolutely do not feel that you're comfortable allowing.
Right.
And usually when police come into something like that, they don't typically handle civil matters. Civil matters go into the court of law, and they usually step out of the spectrum when it becomes a civil matter like that. And he didn't seem willing to step out of that situation and still tried to strong arm your sister into doing something she really wasn't capable of doing at that moment in time. You know, and I'm sorry, my heart goes out to your sister for the loss of her husband. Loss is never easy for anybody. So, you know, my prayers and thoughts are definitely with her and her family right now.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
I also have something too. It's but I want to save all this for the end. I have a few questions, but I want to save it for the end because there's still a little bit more in here. So he then leaves, the chief leaves, and then Lori comes, and she's literally saying things that really aren't true because as an owner, she should know that your sister has rights, including, yes, you can deny the inspection. And at that time, it becomes, you know, a civil matter where Lori needs to go through the civil court or the court to remedy the situation.
That was the next day.
Yeah, that was not the same day.
So that was the next day. Okay.
Yeah.
So when the chief left, that I called him at his office when he got back to his office, and because Sandy at that point had said, okay, you can have the inspection, but Lori can't come. And so then I called him at his office and I said, how dare you? That is not okay. Absolutely no question. Lori, you make sure that your boss knows that she cannot come to do that inspection. That inspection can't happen the next day. And I said, that was a civil matter. The only reason you should have ever been there in that kind of a situation is if there was any type of fighting or anything that you were just keeping the peace. And what you did was really wrong and unethical. And he just said, well, it's a tenant landlord dispute. And I was going there on behalf of the landlord, which, obviously
he states that.
He wouldn't have done that for any other landlord, I'm pretty sure.
No, and in fact, in case anybody is wondering and they would love to give it a try, I'd just like to have Atwater residents, please, if you have any issues, maybe a dog running across your lawn, taking poops all the time, maybe you have an issue with a tenant or your landlord, obviously you can call the Atwater Police Department. The city manager has approved this.
Yeah.
Right.
So
make sure you ask. Make sure you ask for the police chief, though, to come to your residence to assist you.
Let me just make sure we get the number correct. It's 209-357-6384. You'll see it up on the screen here as well. 209-357-6384. That's the non-emergency number to the Atwater Police Department and City Hall. Again, ask for Police Chief Michael Salvador, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
And ask for him specifically to come out to deal with your domestic issue or any kind of issue you have. Obviously, the city manager, who is your elected official, you guys,
and his boss,
and the chief as well. So actually, you're the chief's boss, not the city attorney, because you're the city attorney's boss or the city manager. I keep calling her city attorney, city manager.
Yeah.
So you're as Atwater, California residents must understand you are the city manager's boss. So the city manager basically can hire and fire the police chief, but she does it at your discretion because you are her boss. Your boss or your employee just literally used your other employee to do her public bidding. I mean, come on here. So
on our tax time,
on taxpayers' time.
On the taxpayer's dime. Yeah. And you have law enforcement in your family. How often does this happen with your husband's law enforcement department?
Well, my husband was in law enforcement for the first 5 years of his career with the city of Henderson, Nevada. And then he went to the fire department. So he has some experience with the police department, but then he ended up retiring out of the fire department. And he would never do that. In fact, I had contacted different fire chiefs, different police chiefs, even the police association, and anybody that would talk to me about it, because people don't want to get involved in that. But anyone that would talk to me about it said, oh yeah, that is definitely not something that we would do. That's not an okay thing to do.
Get
her, honey.
Crazy. So let's get back to Lori, because she's pretty fun. She was pretty outraged at your door the next day, or your sister's door the next day. I noticed that there was another gentleman that arrived as well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Robin, you were there, weren't you, that second day?
So the first day, the second day, that was me in the videos. I don't know what guy you're talking. She called. So that day she called when I told her, she came to the door and she said, is the inspector here? And I said, no. I said, Lori, I'm sorry. I said, but it's not happening today. And she's like, yes, it is. I said, no, it's not. She got loud with me. I said, Lori, I'm sorry, but it's just not happening. Sandy can't do this. And she's like, I'm calling. So she then called the police chief, because if you listen in the video, the officer that came out said the police chief sent us over here.
So this is the second time she did it.
Second.
So this is the second day. This is the second time the police have come out. This time there was, the first time it was an officer, the police chief, and I don't know if it was an officer or some city employee, someone from the city. Looked like he had a uniform on, or some type of uniform. And then the second day it was the police officer with another officer and Lori, which Lori was told not to come, just the inspector. The inspector might have been out there. I never even saw him, but I don't think. But yeah, so, and then.
So
even that.
Go ahead.
Even according to that video on that officer on the second day, even, he mentioned that, you need to let her have the inspection. It's her home. But he even knew that he was pushing the boundaries, because he checked out right away. He didn't stay and push it. He just said, I'm out.
Yeah. He said, peace out, and left. So.
Yeah.
Well, at least there are some officers out there, and I do know this person. I shouldn't say at least, and there are quite a lot of officers out there who give a damn about the law, and they
and do the right
tirelessly to do the right thing in a very difficult moment.
Right.
So I want to give kudos to those officers, and you know who you are, and I always do give you those kudos, because it's important that you hear them, and it comes from us. We do love and care and respect what you do. Those bad apples in your department, we know it's very difficult for you to stand up to them, because they are in a lot of powerful positions, but we're getting there. We're getting there, and you keep reaching out to us, those independent journalists out there who are listening to you and bringing the stories that the public needs to hear to right these situations. And this is one of them. So kudos to that officer, whomever you are. My hat's off. So it was twice that she did this. And then did she come back a third day?
No, that was it.
So she should never even return that second day, though, because she was told by the police chief that your sister was not allowing the inspection, right?
Right. So the chief should have told her that she couldn't go, that just the inspector could go. Whether that was relayed to her, I don't know, but she did show up.
And Robin had told her several times. She definitely knew that the inspection was not happening.
Yeah. I was not going to let it happen. My sister was going through, there's 12 days in the house, 12 days left in that house.
She had so much packed up, boxes everywhere. It's not like they could do a real proper inspection anyway.
Yeah, it's like.
Let me just let our viewers know a little unknown or California renters law. You guys can look this up out there in our viewership. But tenants, like I said, and owners, we all have rights. And a tenant has the right to some dang common courtesy, decency, and respect. And one of those is that if the owner, like Lori Waterman, came to her and wanted to get this inspection done right away, and the current tenant was having issues with that because she still had things she needed to pack it, things, it was difficult for her, the tenant could then require the owner to pay for her immediate relocation. That would have rectified the whole situation. if Lori would have came in or if your sister would have come in and just said, hey, you want to inspect the house? I've had these issues. I don't want you in here because of all my stuff everywhere, everything else, unless you bring over a moving crew, paid yourself, and move it to my new location, all packed up and beautiful. And you have to pay for it. That's California law. Just so y'all aware.
There was nothing in writing. So, I mean, we didn't really investigate it at that point because it was like so close to the end of the month.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be in writing. In fact, it's better that it's not in writing because California law states that if in the contract, it specifically states that the landlord does not have to pay relocation fees if the tenant has to move sooner than was originally agreed to, or leave the building for whatever reason like that, then it's null and void. They wouldn't have to pay for it. But because there's no actual written agreement or anything signed to that, she's protected. Your sister is protected under that law.
Right. Right.
So remember,
I would imagine everything falls on the landlord because it's her obligation to get that in writing. I've been a landlord before, and I've lost by not having things thoroughly enough in writing. So I think that definitely all the burden falls on Lori Waterman.
Oh, absolutely. So, Tammy, what is your overall perspective of what occurred? I want to get your side of things here.
I did want to ask a couple questions first, or just clarify a couple things, because Sandy did work for Lori for over 20 years, correct? For the city?
For the city, yeah, not for Lori, but for the city.
Okay, for the city.
Yeah, Lori's been city manager for 3 years or something, close to that.
Yeah.
Okay. And was your sister, did she retire of her own accord?
No, she did. Sandy, I'll give you a little bit of the backstory. Is Sandy and Lori used to be really good friends, very close. I think Lori didn't even work for the city at that point. They were good friends. And then Lori got hired with the city. And my take on the whole scenario is Sandy and her were best friends, hanging out together all the time. And then when Lori got promoted or got her position as city manager, she became more empowered, and she was still friends with Sandy until, and this is my opinion, this is not anything that, this is just what I have gathered from hearing stories throughout the years from my sister, is Lori got to be good friends with one of the city council members, a woman that was elected as a city council member. And I don't know who's, I'm not from there, so I'm not familiar with everybody. And there was some history, not that person disliked Sandy directly by herself, but I guess that person had a relationship with somebody that was Sandy's ex. And so somehow, for some reason, she took a disliking to Sandy. And that's when the pressure on Sandy started being applied. And I guess Lori and that city manager, or that city council person became good friends. And, you know, in my opinion, they became mean girls at that point. And they were looking to, you know, I don't know, they were definitely going to kick Sandy to the curb. And they were going to discontinue her position. They were going to close, you know, they were going to do anything they needed to do in order to get Sandy out. And so Sandy she was seeing a counselor at that point because it was just, I mean, she'd been with that city for so long. That was her home. That was her family, all the people that she'd worked with. And now she was being forced out. And again, within that position that she had with the city, she also had rights because of her seniority. And there were other people that she could have bumped and taken their job because of her seniority, but Lori wasn't having it. It was. I mean, I can't really speak for my sister, but from what I understand, there was really only one way to resolve this whole issue, and that was for Sandy to get the heck out of the city and retire. And Lori did make it happen to where Sandy could retire and collect benefits. And they gave her a buyout. It wasn't very big, but it was, you know, several $1,000s. But you know, they definitely pushed her up. And now she's essentially, because she doesn't feel protected at all in that city. I mean, if she has an issue and the police get called, I mean, with them all being in Lori's pocket, she doesn't feel comfortable in that city. So she was planning on staying in Atwater. that was her home for years. She raised her kids there. She definitely felt like that wasn't a place for her anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really really tough. Tammy, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to get a little bit of that back history because I read the letter that was written. And I think, Debbie, are you the one that wrote the letter?
To who? I wrote a lot of letters. I wrote a letter. Yes, I wrote a letter to everybody.
Okay. So there was a letter that I read that said, that's kind of where I got a little bit of that backstory from. And knowing that part of it kind of ties everything together as far as how aggressive Lori can actually be, forcing somebody kind of out of their job into a retirement, and then trying to force this person into an inspection when she just lost her husband and she's dealing with a lot of other things. Plus she's got health issues that could cause her to, have issues if she got COVID. Like, I understand that because my mom has lupus. And if she caught COVID during the pandemic, I would have lost her. No questions asked, so I understand the fear of the pandemic. And then you have somebody here who you thought was your friend, just completely railroading you at a very difficult time in your life. And then on top of it, people you're supposed to feel very secure with, i.e. the law enforcement agency, who's supposed to come and help you and assist you and keeps the peace, did not do that because of this woman. So what does she have on the police department? How does she have these guys in her pocket? What is there tying these people together to be at her beck and call?
Right.
Very good. Yeah. That's perfect summary of the whole thing.
Let me just clue everybody into some things too. Lori Waterman, not the nicest angel in the block there. Apparently she's been involved in some issues regarding the Brown Act and other political indiscrepancies in the area. And she's just not been a very good leader. If you look up and read some of the stories that have come out of what she's been doing there in Atwater, it's just not moving forward. She seems too focused on the money rather than building the community the way it should be.
Definitely wasn't qualified, but yeah.
And you can see that in the way she treated your sister. So much more focused on getting that money now rather than dealing with the personal issue that your sister had as her friend or was her friend. And, having some compassion and backing up and taking a step, we don't have to deal with this right now. You need to, that's the human thing to do.
Well,
Go ahead.
Lori also had a loss. Her daughter had passed away a week before my sister's husband. So it was Lori's daughter passed away. Lori's husband also died the same way my sister's husband did. And then my sister's husband. So that's why she made that I think she was being so heartless to my sister because she had the same thing happen. So she's like, I need to move on. You need to move on, and that just wasn't I sympathize for her. It's horrible. I couldn't imagine losing a child, but what my sister went through was traumatic, and that's something she'll never, ever forget in her life.
Honestly, Lori shouldn't be in that position anymore, though.
Lori definitely takes that power a little too seriously, for sure. She doesn't consider herself the city manager, the one that's to protect the whole city and watch out for the whole scenario. Right. She's the emperor of the city, so everything she goes.
And she did say, if you noticed in the video when she was talking to me, I said, Lori, I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. She's like, this is my home. And she was yelling at me. And I was like, Lori, that's fine, but it's not going to happen today. My sister can't do it. And she's like, this has nothing to do with you. And I wish I would have said, what did it have to do with the chief? But I didn't think about it at the time. You know what I'm saying? If it didn't have anything to do with me, it didn't have anything to do with the chief. I'm my sister's family. I love my sister. So of course I'm going to take my sister's, I'm going to help her, So yeah, it was insane.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, well, there you go. Just a very difficult situation for your sister. Now, where is she at now? I mean, you don't have to tell us exactly where, but is she still in Atwater? Is she dealing with this person still? Has she moved on?
She's not in Atwater anymore. So she's trying to move on. It's still she's still getting counseling. She's still having a hard time. I mean, she had a big loss, and then her world kind of got turned upside down. So you know, she's definitely looking at her options and trying to figure, I mean, it's sometimes, yeah, it's definitely the whole scenario has affected her mentally. I mean, and she's doing her best at dealing with it. So she's going to be okay, but it's just, it's definitely.
Did she have it?
Oh,
go ahead.
And also, I don't really know if this is relevant, but I just kind of want to bring this up. Lori had texted her after all of this happened and said, you know, I can't believe, basically saying that your sisters are bullying me, that me and Debbie were bullying her. And that she's like, I thought we were good friends. In quotes, she put best friends. We could have handled this differently.
She did that same thing. She was running Sandy out of the city of Atwater. She would talk to Sandy about how good of friends they are, even though she was, you know, she had a knife in Sandy's back.
Yeah.
And, you know, she was, yeah. So she used that same ploy on Sandy when she got her out of the city.
Yes.
Smiling while stabbing you.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's just bad person to have running your city, Atwater. What the heck?
Yeah. You voted her into office. I mean, come on, people.
Voted. Isn't the city manager? I think that's an appointed, maybe by the city council or something. I don't think the city manager is voted into position.
Oh, I thought. My apologies. I might be thinking about the city attorney. So I keep thinking. I'm just all over the place. Anyways, so if it's a position that is not elected but is appointed, you said the city council appointed her.
I'm not, Jeff. How's that
work? I think she was kind of just thrown in because the other city manager left, retired. I don't remember what happened with the old one, but she got thrown in as an interim, whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of it's slowly starting to come back through all the haze, but there was a lot of issues going on with that city manager position. If I recall, they hired somebody, then that person had an issue or something, and then a lawsuit jumped off, and then another person. It was a pretty big back and forth issue, right, or something.
Yeah, Atwater has a lot going on.
And the same scenario happened with the police chief too. So the police chief's fairly new. You know, I don't know the whole backstory to the previous one, but you know, there's definitely some history and some lawsuits happening based on how they're running the show there.
Yeah, and another big story. I don't mean to just keep going off the rails here, but another big story out of Atwater that just got swooped right on over was the sheriff's deputy's wife, who worked at the dispatch office there. That sheriff's deputy went on a rampage, literally, and was shot and killed by his own department, or no, Merced City Police Department. Shot and killed him. But his wife worked in the department, and from what I heard, now this is just hearsay from some inside sources in Atwater City, but the woman that the deputy was married to, that works in the dispatcher's office in Atwater, was having all kinds of crazy affairs or something, and might have said
that's what was cool. Yeah, it happened right around the corner from my house. So yeah, that was
wow. That
I've known them. Yeah, so that was horrible.
You know, that was one of the first big stories that I talked about or wrote about. I believe it was back in early 2000s, because he was involved in beating a UPS driver at the Merced Fairgrounds. Him and another deputy. You guys remember that?
Marcus.
Yeah.
From there, so
wow, we're aging.
Marcus is a very good friend of mine. Yep.
We're aging ourselves.
Yeah.
But I don't think. Yeah, Johnny just. The officer just passed away. It was just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, Johnny Mathis. Yeah. In fact, I ended up at his son's wedding. The bride's family called me as I was doing, video and stuff, and asked me if I could do the video for their wedding. Sure, everything was great. I showed up, and Mathis, of course, being his son's wedding, saw me and recognized. He went ballistic and threw me out of the place. It was amazing.
Oh, God.
Yeah, in front of the whole wedding party. It was something else.
Well, that's the thing with Lori. Now, Sandy does have an attorney, and they are suing the city, I think. I'm not exactly sure the whole thing, but we've been interviewed by an investigator that the city has hired, so that's taxpayers' money. Plus, the city attorney is working on it. I mean, it's all taxpayers' money all over. I mean, Lori goes and tries to strong arm her tenant, and all of her defense is being covered by taxpayer money because you've got the city attorney, because it's all done on city time. Right. So, I mean, it's a private affair with a landlord, happened to hire her own attorney, but she doesn't. She's still walking free while the taxpayers are footing the bill for her defense in this whole matter.
Yeah, and I would recommend everybody who's watching this to venture on over to the Merced Sun Star. And I don't ever endorse the Merced Sun Star, but I got to say, recently they've seemed to have mixed it up there. They're covering things that they normally don't, and they cover them with an opinion that makes sense. And
they had a great article on this.
Yeah, tell us about that opinion piece a little bit. Do you remember that?
Go ahead, Debbie.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Oh, I mean, they were just about the second article, right? Is what you're talking about?
Yeah, the opinion piece where they talked about.
Yeah, they were just basically like, who is Lori to basically bully, call the police chief? So they were basically on Sandy's side. So that was an editorial, I guess, and that's where I've never heard of this, but I don't know.
Go ahead, ladies.
They absolutely said that she should not be in that position, and that they should just settle and then also get her out of that position. So I mean, they were definitely they were, like you said, very common sense. This is what happened. This is what everybody knows what happened. However, they want to try to spin it differently. They can do whatever they want, but the bottom line is that article was written to where it summed up exactly how things happened.
They did a great, I was impressed.
Yeah. Kudos to them. And I hope they continue that type of reporting. It's very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
So ladies, anything else you guys want to add? Tammy, do you have some more questions for our two guys?
I don't. Not. You guys have been great answering all the questions that I've had. So, when I saw the videos and I read the letter, I was just completely blown away by this. I never lived in Atwater, but I did live in Winton for a little while, and I can see that things really haven't changed too much over the years as far as the little bit of corruption that has run through there.
Yeah, Atwater's always had a little bit of corruption.
Yeah,
Little bit. Wait a minute.
Yeah. Sounds like the mob's running.
Well, they say the HA might have something to do with it. But anyways.
Right.
Anyways, I don't want to dig my own grave. Ladies, it was wonderful having you on our show. Is there anything else you'd like to add to this story before we go?
I don't think so.
But thank you also for letting us talk. I mean, it's really nice to share the story and to let people realize that, there are avenues to go. If you feel like you're being steamrolled by somebody, that there are avenues to take to expose and try to get some help. So thank you for allowing us to, talking to us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Appreciate that.
And I think it's very important that to share this story, and especially for people to understand how you and your family handled it, because you didn't come out there and aggressively get physical, or there wasn't a cursing and profanities shouted and the B words and the C words. It was a bad situation, but it was handled civilly. And I think people could take that away from how you guys did it, and always document with the video like you did.
That was very good.
It was really hard. I controlled myself. I was very angry, so it was really hard to control myself, but I did the best I could. And because when she started screaming, I was just like, refrain. So thank you.
Well, again, thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. We really appreciate you. Did you have something else to add?
Nope.
Okay. Thanks again for joining us. We really appreciate you, Debbie and Robin. And we just hope you'll update us when, some things start moving or happening. And I do hope the best for Sandra. And she's so flipping awesome. So many people in Atwater know her. She gave so many years to the recreation department. So kudos. Thank you so much for all your hard work for the city and for the people of Atwater. And don't let Lori get you down, Sandra. We really care about you.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you, guys. All right. Bye-bye.
So I'd like to welcome to IPJ, the podcast, Juan with the Merced Golden Wire News. He has given us the pleasure of coming onto our show and doing an interview. Welcome, Juan.
Thank you.
Hey, Juan. Nice to hear you. So Juan, I want to just give everybody a quick little background on you. I know that you picked up the ball when Merced County News Television stepped away, and you saw that there was still that need for solid local news reporting, and you picked up the ball and ran with it. You developed a very strong and fast Facebook presence, I remember, before you ventured into building your own actual website, right?
Yes, and you helped me out with that all this time to help me with the website, create it, and
no,
the page was started. The page was started in 2016, I believe, the Facebook.
Yeah.
And then the website was started in I think it was on mid 2017.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's all you, man. You're amazing. I mean, because you took an idea and you had no idea how to do it.
Yes.
But you made it happen. And I think it's such an inspirational story, not just in the news business, but in life in general, that people can do what they want to do if they put themselves to do it.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm not considered no journalist or nothing. I just want to I work full time. I have my own job, and I only do this on my free time. I try to help out and report as much as I can in the community for the viewers. And I never go around asking them like for money or anything. I did have a donation link on the website, but that was like anybody that wanted to donate. I didn't go around asking people, like messaging them or anything like that, like send me money.
Yeah, well, if anybody does want to send you money, please do, because it takes money to do what you're doing.
Yeah, and especially nowadays that gas is pretty expensive, and for me to go out to the scenes whenever I do go out, it's just money out of my pocket. But I enjoy doing it though. Like it's pretty fun. I like what I do. That's why when you sold your page, I wanted to continue something for Merced County.
Yeah, and let's talk real quick about what you do, because I think it's just fascinating. That's kind of why I got into it. But you listen to things happening in the community. You get messages, information from relationships you have built with people within the community about news and information that's happening and occurring. And sometimes these can be pretty dramatic situations, right?
Yes.
Tell us about one of those major dramatic situations you may have experienced, that you did experience.
Well, there's been several, and I have actually had the police department contact me trying to get information out of certain crimes. I can't mention like those crimes. To some of them, they're probably the case are not over yet, so we wouldn't want to mention like what exactly it was about. Right. But I've had the police department contact me on certain things and try to ask me questions on those cases because of information that I received from witnesses, and those witnesses didn't go forward to the police department.
Yeah, and that says something about your trust in the community, and that's very important for people to have trust in someone who's bringing them forth news and information.
Yeah, definitely.
The last thing you want is some, blowhard, making some stories up and, just to get clicks and likes.
Yeah, and the thing that it sucks about my last page when my Facebook got hacked and I lost all that, and that's why I started this new page. So anybody that still doesn't follow it, I suggest them to go follow the new page. And I also started a TikTok, but nothing big yet. There's not many people following it. It's too new.
You know about TikTok, right, Tammy?
Oh yeah,
you guys saw it.
I have a 19-year-old son. He does TikTok all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's something new going on out there, and people are using it. So I was like, let me go ahead and start one.
Yeah, see, as a business owner, you got to stay up with the technology. You know, it's important, right?
Because you never know. Facebook nowadays is acting weird, and you get banned for anything.
Yeah. Now, you briefly touched on a situation. There's a little newsworthy there. You mentioned about being hacked and your name change. I think it's important for people to realize that you did business for the community out of your own pocket there under the name Merced Gateway News, or was it the Merced Gateway News?
It was Merced Gateway News.
Right. And you did that from 2016 up into
2019, I think.
Why did you change?
Well, there was this person that contacted me saying that was their name and they had trademarked it. And now I didn't want any problems. I didn't want to deal with no courts or anything. So I was like, I just wanted to make it easy and just change the name. And I had already came up with a new name, but I kept it as Merced GW News because it went with the Merced Golden Wire News.
So Tammy, I want you to change the name of your company because I'm going to trademark it tomorrow. Unless you give me some of your company. Is that the percentage amount I get?
Yeah, pretty much.
0.00, you know, all right.
Could be your IQ as well. I mean, you know.
You and my wife talk too much together, don't you? You guys are secretly texting. Anyways, so the name change you had to go through. You built the name, like I said, from 2016 all the way up to 2019. This guy comes in and claims the name, and it's just
yes, it was late in 2019.
And that was late in 2019. Yeah, because I have something to confess to you, and I'm going to confess it here now. Because I feel really bad, and I didn't want to tell you via text, but you know, maybe I should wait until I come see you. But anyways, I think you should know this and that is that when you reached out to me and you told me, you know, what was going on, looking for some advice, I was quick to tell you, you know, man, you know, you're going to have to change the name. This is, you know, this guy could, you know, squash you because apparently he's had this for so long, you know.
Yes. I remember you telling me that.
Oh, just another dagger in my heart. And then when this came up, and it was just like, I felt so bad because, you know, it didn't make sense that this guy could just take everything from you, make you change everything, and all of a sudden you lose you lost a good portion of your readership just from that alone, right?
Yes.
We haven't got to the hacking part yet, so hang on. So this guy, you went along and you went ahead and just said, hey, you know, I don't have money to go hire an attorney and do all these things to fight this or to prove that, you know, I've had it since this long, and to prove that this guy is not real. He also showed you a photo or a screenshot of a YouTube page that showed Jay and Fly Ranch, IPJ Ranch, something like that, Merced Gateway News.
Yeah.
And used that as proof that he had the name
company
2008.
Yeah.
There was no business document. There was no company, no EIN document, no IRS documents, just that screenshot, which is just absolutely hilarious, I got to say.
Yeah.
Anyways, that he could get away with it, and that's why it's hilarious. That he could literally do that to somebody and crush you is absolutely tragic and horrific and disgusting.
Yeah, and apparently by me still using Merced GW News is still something that he's not agreeing about, and because it's still his name.
Right. So let's move forward, because we've got a little bit more to the story before we address that one. So he then you continue on doing your thing, but then all of a sudden, a few months ago or a couple of months ago, was it a month ago? It wasn't that long ago. Your Facebook page suddenly goes kaplunk, gone.
Yes.
And it's gone because basically, well, I'll let you tell the story. Why is it gone?
Well, I did receive a Facebook page message saying that I have violated Facebook terms, and it asked me if I wanted to dispute this issue to press on this link. And I clicked on the link, and it asked me for my login credentials. And right when I entered that, I got hacked, and a video was posted on the page, and I was no longer able to log into my personal and my page.
Now, when that happened, how many?
And when that happened, the Instagram account also disappeared because it's Facebook's app also.
Right. And how many followers did you have on Facebook?
On Facebook, I believe I was around 37,000 already.
And then on Instagram?
Instagram, I don't remember the exact number, but I think I was close to 12,000.
And so your website's name had to change as well?
The website stayed the same, because the website, when I started it in 2017, that was worded out as Merced GW News, and the link was available. So I believe it's a GoDaddy. When you pick a link for your website name, it tells you if it's available or not. Right. So it told me that was available, so that's the one we went with.
Right. Now, you found out your Facebook had been hacked. Everything, you lost all those viewers, all those people who follow your page.
Yes, and the good thing, the website was not part of the hack, because that was not part of Facebook, and we were able to keep the website, and we did have quite a few email subscribers. So whenever a post gets posted, they receive an email, and that kind of helps out by people still being able to see what's happening here in the community.
Did you see a drop in your web?
Oh, that definitely.
Yeah. And then so now comes where I pick up the story, because this guy got me involved. This guy that owns this, he owns the Merced Gateway News, I believe it is. So he comes into the picture, and he excuse me, gotta clear my throat here. He comes in the picture, and he claims that he wants to talk with me about Morris stories. And it was like 7:15 in the morning. And so I text the guy back, he's so-and-so from, Jeremy Brown from Merced Gateway News. And he wants to talk to me about, Morris. I told him, hey, listen, I know who you are. You're a scam artist, because I know, what he's claimed about your company. And I was there. I know everything. I know what you started. He can claim all he wants, but he doesn't have documents to prove it. Or he doesn't even have a website or a Facebook or anything to prove it from 2008, 2012, whatever he claims.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he sends me these text messages early in the morning, and he wants to talk to. So I sent him that, and he gets upset. Everything else, calls me a dick, and or whatever. Tells me eat a dick, actually.
And he didn't spell it right.
Huh?
And he didn't spell it right.
Yeah.
That's not the only thing.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, he has issues with lots of spelling. Anyways,
I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I don't spell like that.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, so he reaches out to me, and so from there it kind of kicks off, right? He starts telling me that he has all these patents. He owns 10 patents, things that he has designed and gotten patents on, and that he's owned this name since way back when, blah blah blah. So I started doing some research. Because that's what I do. I want to find out if what he's saying is true, because if that's true, wow, this guy's freaking amazing. 10 patents. This guy's an inventor. He must spend a lot of time in an office just developing things, because it takes a long time to develop things like that, to get patents on them and to get them approved. And it costs money as well to get things patented. So anyways, I couldn't find anything. He wouldn't send me any patent numbers, claimed that, everything is hush hush and blah, blah, blah. And that he doesn't have to send me anything. And so it just started getting really weird and really fishy. So I started going further and further and further, asking him about when he started, Merced Gateway News. He sent me that lame picture of YouTube. So I sent all that over to an attorney, and the attorney, I put his name in the message, Lawrence out of Concord, California. He looked at everything. He did a quick search on all of his BS and found the guy has no patents, and he has no, he's never owned Merced Gateway News. Never. There's not been a business ever licensed Merced Gateway News until 2019. When he went in and did a trademark, application and did a EIN business license deal out of the state of California. So he was able to basically scam you, and this is my opinion. He basically scammed you out of your company name. Then he's tried to take your readers. If you look at his website, Tammy, you look at his Facebook page and everything else, he hasn't had stories starting since I think 2020 or 2019, late 2019. So he's not been in the game, since way back when he claimed. So anyways, this guy's a complete, scam in my opinion. And he basically got your company name. So
yes.
He started some really bad stuff when he posted to attack me online as well. He posted about that I was a woman beater, that he's going to beat me up. And he's going to do all these bad things, to me, because I beat women. And he posted a Merced County court document with a case number and a woman's name on there as well. And I, on behalf of myself, and not on behalf of that idiot, I just want to say I apologize for what he's done to you. He should never have posted that. And if you at least can get an apology, you'll at least get one from me, because no man should ever behave that way. He should have checked out the story and the information, right, Juan? Would you not check out some information if I sent you over something saying, hey, this guy, Jeremy Brown, he's a rapist. Look, there's a bunch of stuff about him raping women.
Yeah, you would have to confirm it with a couple of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And you would, you yourself could also call up, some sources and, find out what's going on to kind of, so yeah. There's ways to get the information. You could also just call me, or you call, find out who the young lady is in the case involved and call her. But he didn't do any of that. Anyways, he put me out there as a woman beater. I want to just let everybody know I would never, ever physically assault a woman. I will, it's just not, I don't understand why I would. So it's not in the blood. And it really, really, really hurt, because I came from a father who was very abusive to my mother, really abusive. And to have that type of title or tag put on me, especially at this point when building audiences, putting out, good stuff. It really just crushed me, and it hurt my character so bad. But we're going to figure
I was so mad about it. I made a comment on that post too, because that really angered me. I mean, the name wasn't even spelled the same way. So I don't understand how you can make that assumption anyway.
Hey, Matthew, I have a question. So is that your wife's name?
Misty?
Yeah.
No.
Branka.
Yeah, Branka. In fact, her legal name is Bronislava. So he would be like, imagine him trying to figure out how to spell that one. And so, yeah, no, yeah. And also we weren't even, at the time in March, we were still packing everything up and moving to Winton at the time. We moved in April, just after April 1st to Winton. And that's when I started, trying to build my own little new thing. So anyways, do you have any questions about all of this yet so far, Miss Tammy?
I actually do. Juan, are you a Merced native? Were you born and raised there?
No, I was born in Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What city of Mexico?
In Cotija.
Cotija.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but it sounds so nice.
You heard the name of the cheese, Cotija?
Uh-huh. I love Cotija cheese. It's the best to make quesadillas with.
I came from there, and that was when I was little, and been here since then. And then my mother became a U.S. citizen, and before I turned 18, she made me and my other brother U.S. citizens.
Nice.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great.
So
I went to school since they brought me here to Merced.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so you've been there for all your life, pretty much.
Basically, yeah.
So what do you think about the community itself? I know that a lot of people whom I've talked to that know you, people that work with you, they just adore you. They really do.
Yeah, there's several people that I've even been called by the office of the district attorney, by different of the attorneys that work there, and they were wondering what happened to my page because they saw it disappear. And so when they called me, I explained to them what had happened, and they said that they were thinking that it was because I had posted a story that they had released from the district attorney, and that I was being attacked for it, and if that was the reason. And I explained to them that that was not the reason, and that it was because of the hack. And
you are very careful to not release anything until you're told it's okay or until it comes to light, right? Like you don't release anything before you're supposed to. So you follow certain guidelines for your news site.
Yes. Once my page started becoming more known, I was more careful of what I posted. And there is people out there like that followed my page and then they got blocked from it. They say, well, most of the time that you go out there, all you say is you give what's happening there, and then you said we'll have more information later. But it's not like I can't give more information. Like I don't know what's going on. Like, am I supposed to make up the story? Like I gotta wait for a press release or something.
Now, as far
like
as
make up the stuff.
Now, as far as making up stories, I got another confession to make, because I did try to insert some creative statements into a story that one needed a little help with. He'd reached out, and I put it in and just said, hey, well, it'd be obvious that this would, person would be with this person at that point in time. So just, but no, you would not have it. If it's not what happened, it's not going in the story. I'm like, wow, this guy's real, people. He ain't messing around. If it's real, he'll put it in there. If it ain't, it's not going in. It's
got to be actual factual.
Yeah, there was this one time that I posted about a local bar here in Merced. Several things that happen all the time, and I was always getting messages from people that go there, and they were attacking me, saying that's not what's going on there, when in fact most of the time that it was going on, I would go to it, and the officers were there, and there was actually some of those cases, press releases of what had happened there. And that one time, I even had to contact Matthew, and he was able to get a hold of somebody to get an actual press release posted on the Merced Police page regarding that case that people were saying that it was fake news.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal, and totally understand, because, nobody wants to, see a business, be pointed out for, negative things going on there that, they really don't have very much control over. Of course, that particular place did have the control of the security and how they ran it, but that's another day, another time. But that was a really good story, because it really helped people stay a little more safe, knowing that they could be walking into. Because, I mean, there was things going on not only inside, but on the parking lot too. Violence, serious violence. Right, Juan?
Yes.
So now you don't only just cover violence and crazy crime like that. You also cover really.
I go to events also, and I also posted about the Cesar Chavez painting at the food center. I believe it's still called Food Center, and just different local stuff, and also, if I get press releases about something happening in Livingston, events or stuff like that, I'll also share them.
Now, if people want to put their event out there or get this information to you about something going on in the communities, because you not only do just Merced, right? Do you do the other cities or no?
No, I try to do like Livingston, and if there's something going on in Chowchilla and I'm home, I'll go to it. But most of the time, it's just Merced, Atwater, Livingston.
Gotcha. So if you have something going on out in those places, folks, reach out to Juan over at Merced Golden Wire News for the moment, and see if we can't get some more people out there, made some awareness of what's going on. Also, if you want to advertise, you have the options to advertise on his page. Is that correct, Juan?
Yes, the website is still up and running, and I actually just paid the renewal fees, which is pretty pricey also.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so if people want to help out, they can go directly to your website, and there's a donation button there. You're not a nonprofit, so it's not something that they would be able to write off in taxes, but you can go there and help support local, real, honest community news.
Yeah, and also something that I wanted to let out here, which I already did on the new page. I was asking for donations before I was hacked for better camera equipment. And I had posted a picture of the camera that I was willing to purchase with those donations. And it was almost a $2,000 camera. And the community did come in and helped out. And I picked up about $500. So I'm not close to that goal. But I'm not asking them to keep doing it if the community doesn't want to help out. But just keep visiting my stories on the website, and that'll help out a little bit.
Yeah.
Eventually, I would be able to purchase the camera, but now it's going to probably take a little bit longer.
And so, yeah, people can go there and donate any amount, right? It's I mean, if I've got $5,
it'll give them the option if they want to donate. I believe it's monthly or yearly. Yeah, it has different options.
Nice. So go there, people. Help out, support local community news. Real, honest.
Yeah, I just don't want people to think that I just stole the money and I wasn't gonna go back. That's why I had to start a new page and let the community know that I'm not going away.
Yeah, that's important because you do have a lot of people that rely on you and count on you every day. Tammy, you got any other questions?
I do not. I'm going to have to start following that website and looking into that because, I come from that area too. So, yeah.
Yeah, Tammy's up in Washington, so.
I am up in Washington, yeah. I was born and raised in Stockton, California, but lived the better half of my life out in Winton and the Atwater area, and then up in Mariposa, California as well.
Nice.
Yeah. So, wow. It's been a very good moment to get to know you, Juan, understanding what it is that you do there at Merced Golden Wire News. Do you have anything else you want to add? Let our watchers, viewers, listeners know.
No, just follow me and stay updated on stories. And like I said, there is also a TikTok they can follow.
Yeah, I got to check that out.
Yeah, I believe it's Merced Golden Wire News also, right?
Okay, so if you go to Merced Golden Wire News, is there a link to your TikTok from there?
No, I don't believe. I don't. Are we able to add a TikTok link onto the Facebook? I'm not sure. I would have to check that out. I haven't been on a laptop in a while. It's just my phone, and I know on computers it gives you more options to add stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so people go to TikTok and it's Merced Gatewire News or Golden Wire News.
Golden Wire.
Is it GW or Golden Wire?
Let me check.
Yeah. Check that real quick. And if you get a chance, folks, go out there, check that out. Again, go to his website, mercedgwnews.com, and also go to his Facebook page, like. Good stuff, good information, and some of it's in real time too. It lets you know and it can keep you safe.
Matt.
Yes, sir.
So it's Merced GW News.
Merced GW News. All right, so go to TikTok and get on his TikTok or Merced GW News. We're going to expect some really interesting stuff because you go to some really interesting scenes.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see. You might find a naked drunk man running around cars. You just never know what you're going to see, right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, because it is Merced. I mean, we're talking Merced, man. Do you remember that story of the naked woman in the park?
No.
Yeah, it was a few years ago. We were talking about 2016, 2015 maybe, but she was actually sitting in the park in Merced and naked and screaming and singing or something like that. And police had to come out and arrest her.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that. Thank God. But I haven't encountered some things out on my way to work if I pull over to a gas station or something, but nothing like seeing somebody naked.
Well, let's hope you don't have to experience that, at least not anytime soon. So Juan, thank you so much for being here and helping us to understand who you are, the company that you began and started in 2016, and where you're at now. I hope that these issues will get resolved soon, and you can carry on as you wish. So thank you again for joining us. Tammy, you got anything?
Just thank you so much, Juan, for your time and sharing your stories with us, and hopefully we can help you build up some of those numbers that you lost when your Facebook got hacked.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, folks, so go there. Go there. All righty. So once again, it was a pleasure to have you here. Juan, did you have something else you wanted to say? Sorry.
No, I don't. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. So, wow, what a fascinating interview. A young man just jumped in there and started making his own news company and building it, and then to have some guy just sweep in and just whoosh, steal all of your hard work. It's just, again, that's my opinion, my personal opinion. So.
Yep, be careful. There's a lot of scammers out there, a lot of scammers. I get these Facebook messages all the time telling me, oh, Publishers Clearinghouse is giving away $50,000. Oh, didn't you know that the Washington State is giving out a grant for blah, 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 blah. Just give me the password to your Facebook. Yeah, no.
Yeah, so very big and difficult lessons to learn for all of us. But at the same time, though, you want to make sure that you protect yourself, folks. And the way you have to protect yourself is to file the appropriate forms and documents. It doesn't cost a lot of money. In fact, an EIN, I believe, is absolutely free. You just go online in the state of California, enter in some, very basic information in regards to the business that you're starting, and there it goes. That EIN becomes like a social security number, so to say, for your business. So as your business does any income or anything, any revenue, and they're writing checks to your business name, it's going to tie, to that EIN. When you go to open up your bank account, that EIN number is going to be tied. It all ties to that. So, and it's really not that difficult. And it's something that can really save you from hours of endless sleep, it's where you cannot just I feel for the man. I really do, because he built so much there, and I couldn't fathom somebody calling me and telling me, oh, what you've built actually is mine.
Yeah, no, that's in my opinion theft. You're stealing from somebody, not Juan, but the guy that scammed him out of his, business logo, name, and all that stuff, and even took his stuff from him, like his whole Facebook page, everything, all of his, he took a good majority of his followers and his readers, away from him. And now he's working really hard to try to gain all that back. And that other guy is a thief.
Yeah. I saw a huge spike on his website. You can track website traffic. I saw a big spike in his website when he first started when he took the name away from the actual owner. There was a huge spike in the guy's website. So obviously that people were confused. They were drawn to his website instead of the actual Merced Gateway News. And Juan lost a lot. And we're going to pursue some avenues. We're going to get behind him and get an attorney involved for him. As far as I go, just so everybody knows, I'm going to sue this young man. He's going to need to understand that he cannot do that to somebody's credibility as a news organization. That's absolutely despicable. If I was to do that to somebody, I would have been sued. There would have been no Merced County News Television. I mean, so many people get angry at you. I'm not going to, Tammy could get angry at me and scream up and down and hate me forever. I'm not going to go and post something, negative about her, first of all, but I'm not going to go post anything about her that is a lie. That's, it just doesn't make any sense. Nope. So there is libel laws, just so everybody knows. Libel is when you write something or post something that is not true about somebody, and it's not true when you post it or you put it up online. And that was easy to do for him to figure out if it was true or not. And he decided not to figure that out. He also decided not to, and he ignored my text messages begging him to take it down, ignoring that as well. So he knew that what he posted was not true. And then there's libel, and then there's also what is the other one? Defamation, or
defamation of character.
Yeah, there's the defamation of character, and then there's libel, and slander.
Slander.
Those both fall under defamation of character. But slander is the one where you speak the word that is, is not true. So if I went out there as a news organization and said to people that, so-and-so did something that I knowingly is not true, that is slander. So libel, slander, libel written, slander spoken.
Yep.
Learn something new every day with IPJ, baby. All right, everybody.
I can't with you.
Well, that's gonna wrap us up for this edition of IPJ the podcast. I hope you all had as much fun as I did and some insight into some things going on in your community. How about you, Tammy?
I enjoyed these 2 interviews very much so. It's been a real pleasure, and glad to see you back on board again, and we have some wonderful things coming up for all of our viewers and listeners.
Yeah, we got a lot of plans. We want to make a lot of things happen, but unfortunately health issues have been, pushing a little strain, but as we're getting better, we will make the show better. So follow the progress. Boy. So, and then of course, what should people do if they want to follow the progress? Tammy?
Oh, well, that's super easy. You can go to any of our social media platforms. We're on YouTube. We're actually live streaming on Twitch now, and we have an Instagram. We have a Facebook page, and starting tomorrow, we're going to have a TikTok and a Twitter and all those other fun things. So you can you can subscribe, you can follow us, you can donate, which always helps. And yeah, so share us, share the cause.
Yeah, share it, because at IPJ the podcast, it is your voice. So use it. Good night, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend and the rest of your week, and we will see you next week.